housing market by buying a motorhome.
I made their move count.
So here's how we look if someone sees this.
I'm watching it on
like the little emojis in the title.
Theology, if you will, is that the cruise ship industry.
Okay.
What in the Carnival and Royal Caribbean is going on here? So just this week, both Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line have announced the building of more mega ships. Now, I think it would be an understatement to say that when it comes to this mega cruise ship trend, people are kind of 50-50 as a whole. Either they love the idea or they hate it. In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each, and hopefully you agree with me. One ship-size fact that is important to note and understand is that the cruise ship industry within this mega ship phase, trend, era, or ideology, if you will, is that the cruise ship industry is absolutely booming right now. People want to take a cruise. They want to sail the seven seas while they drink a margarita, gamble a little bit, and bed wrestle while they sail on their merry way to their favorite port of call, destination, or island.
That's
this
one of those.
is the why. Well, there's technically many reasons why they're building these mega ships. I will outline in this video that more so
Like
is the benefit of
Ship Life always talks about sex
and profit. However, the first thing I want to point out is what's going on with Carnival.
What do I got?
Go ahead and set the stage here. Carnival Cruise Line this week has announced that starting in spring of 2027, they're going to launch a brand new XL or Excellence Class cruise ship to join up with the Mardi Gras, the Celebration, and the Jubilee. Regardless of how some of you may feel about Carnival Cruise Line, and yes, I'm talking to you loyal to royals out there, Carnival is extremely successful. I sail Carnival many a time a year, and I do love the product. I call it your average Joe's cruise line. There are known people out there that have a great time, and their ships are absolutely packed. This means that, yes, there is an opportunity to potentially continue expanding the business. They also have the launch of their new private area over in Grand Bahama coming up in 2025, Celebration K. I'm sorry, I just realized that Carnival has spelled it Celebration Key. You guys get my mind all tangled up with Key versus K, but nevertheless, not the point. When it comes to Carnival, yes, like I said, they are very successful. And when it comes to the launch of their fourth XL or Excellence Class cruise ship, it just kind of sets the precedent that Carnival is doing great. However, one thing I will point out, someone that does sail with Carnival regularly.
What?
I was not paying attention. Could you go back a minute? What was he talking about?
Could you just pay attention?
Ooh.
And profit. However, the first thing I want to point out is what's going on with Carnival.
He's talking about the fact that Carnival's building another XL
This week has
class.
announced that starting in spring of 2027, they're going to launch a brand new.
Did you watch the beginning of this earlier, or was there another one of our favorites talking about the new ship today that you're
Celebration and the Jubilee? Regardless of how some of you may feel about Carnival Cruise Line, and yes, I'm talking to you loyal royals out there. Carnival is extremely successful. I sail Carnival many a time a year, and I do love the product. I call it your average Joe's cruise line. There are known people out there that have a great time, and their ships are absolutely packed. This means that, yes, there is an opportunity to potentially continue expanding the business. They also have the launch of their new private area over in Grand Bahama, Celebration K. I spelled it Celebration Key.
A weekend cruise. This is common weekend cruises for 2-3, basically. You know, Friday, Monday, Friday, Sunday. If you can sit there and haul out 8,000 people in one ship, with what used to be a large, like a magic class, you know, then you'd have to haul out 4 ships, 3.5 ships.
Okay.
And everything now is more cost less to do food, energy, heating, and everything.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to do more mega ships.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying though.
And then you're getting more drinkers. So where do they make a lot of their profits? Alcohol.
Yeah.
Because the percentage of people that drink per drink on a weekend cruise compared per person on like a 7-10 day cruise.
You guys get my mind all tangled up with Key versus K, but nevertheless, not the point. When it comes to Carnival, yes, like I said, they are very successful. And when it comes to the launch of their fourth XL or Excellence Class cruise ship, it just kind of sets the precedent that Carnival is doing great. However, one thing I will point out, someone that does sail with Carnival regularly on their smaller ships, on their larger ships, on their older ships. I do believe that Carnival, they're kind of rushing with this launch because I do personally believe that they still need to get their house in order. What I mean by that, and I'm saying this as somebody that sails
definitely
cruise lines about 15 to 20 times per year.
I was thinking that
along with Carnival's competitors like your NCL
as
and
a
Royal Caribbean,
shareholder,
Carnival does
they
seem
need
to
to pay
have
off their
some
debts first.
consistency issues. They've also lately been, from what I've seen, increasing the prices while taking some things away. We also have the issue as
And it's nitpicky stuff too.
Carnival has
Like adding 80 cents to your tip or $1.50 or
craziness and disorderly conduct that was taking place on board their
everybody's
ships.
doing that.
However, I would argue this past year during the peak seasons, it was arguably worse than it had ever been. Even with this crackdown, the dogs on board and everything in between. Obviously, to be clear, this segment of the conversation wouldn't even be.
Got them a lot of PR though, free.
It
doesn't matter what they're saying about you, as long as they're talking about you.
On their rules and regulations. If they're going to be the fun cruise line, or let's say how other people may put it, the anything goes cruise line, that is
Here he goes again.
Just don't announce you're going to try to clean up your act to some degree, because now people are like, well, what do you want? What is your initial plan, and what do you have moving toward the future? That's what I believe the issue is when it comes to Carnival creating these newer ships. You need to figure out what the formula is and how you're going to go about it as you move forward. I would also argue that Carnival Cruise Line has somewhat lost its style, its flavor, its pizzazz.
I don't know, Jay.
Carnival, if you look back at their ship from, let's say, the late 90s to the early 2000s, the ship had all these...
Like in the architecture painting skin.
Joe Farkas.
I will tell you though, the two funnest cruises I've ever been on in 20-some years were probably the last 3 Carnival ships, including for the previous winter. Just some of the funnest times, because people there were crazy, and I like that sort of, you know, frat. It's like everybody's at a frat party at 2 of the last 4 Carnival cruises we went on.
But I would only, I don't know. I don't prefer the weekend cruise vibe on Carnival.
Yeah.
It's too casual for me.
Colors. It had
Well, I tell you, at 3 in the morning after wrapping up a $50 blackjack table, all sorts of shenanigans good. Evidently, I was the best white dancer. These 2 4-year-old women that I was dancing with. I've seen a white guy dancing with all that rhythm. I'm thinking, I got no rhythm.
Well, you are from Detroit, so.
True.
I don't think that can or will ever happen. There are other things that I want to touch on with Carnival Cruise Line. However, the things I'm going to touch on do apply to both Carnival and Royal Caribbean, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Now let's sail into Royal Caribbean, the cruise line that has the biggest cruise ships in the world, and there isn't an argument for it.
Can you see the screen from
killing
here?
it, so much so that they know this, and for that reason they are
Over here.
taking full advantage.
I mean,
now
just
this year
move
we
right
have
now.
seen
Kind of make it like a
icon
postcard thing.
seas. It gained
Like
a
it's supposed
lot
to-
of
where
publicity,
each in a
a lot of
postcard.
media attention, people that don't even care about
I've got it on
cruise.
my phone
That just goes to show us
I gotta get the
how
angles
good
just right with all the
marketing
lines
team
lined
is.
up, of
We
course.
also this summer have the launch of the
I'll be
beautiful
quiet
Utopia
for a
of the
minute and a
seas,
half
which I will be on board, very excited. The 5th Oasis class ship. And now we are talking about a 6th Oasis class ship that is set to launch sometime in 2028. Do keep in mind that as far as the Icon class, which is a bigger class than the Oasis class, has 2 ships set in place to launch. The Star of the Seas in 2025 and another named Icon class ship in 2026. Royal Caribbean is the best well-oiled machine in your standard cruising. There is no doubt about it. I don't think anybody can make an argument for any other line. Their ships are clean. Their app works perfectly and seamlessly, and it's very easy to read. Their food is very good. I was on the Icon. The buffet, it wasn't as good as I had seen on, let's say, Freedom of the Seas or even Oasis class ship Wonder of the Seas. But you go to specialty dining options, they are killing the game. They just have a formula that works, and they are definitely going to try to, well, of course, take advantage of that opportunity, understandably so. Now, looking at both Carnival and Royal Caribbean, as far as, let's say, the pros or potential issues that are these brands in the launch of their mega ship, you have ships of this size, this magnitude, it is obviously going to greatly reduce the quantity and quality of the ports in which they could visit. You can only go to so many places. Now, given when I say quality,
True.
obviously there are
Well,
a
lately,
lot of
it's-
options.
sea days are
Very
great
nice
just to
ports
stay on
you
board.
could visit.
Or
However, I
or
do
we're
believe that
old and
most
lazy.
Carnival Royal Caribbean are more so
Oh, the port
focused
days, you
on
mean?
Yeah,
Like
I-
the
I
ones
really
that you
enjoyed
go to
those.
1,000,000 times.
Control. By
Yeah.
that, I mean, of course, your private island, Perfect Day, Coco Cay, and Carnival's private area over in Grand Bahama, Celebration Key. When it comes to Royal Caribbean, there have been many arguments.
Well, like I said, we should.
Ship is now
The best times
destination.
we've had
Yes,
is when we've
obviously
really taken time to look at something
that.
unique
It
to
is
do,
a
like
fact.
personal.
However, they
Like
are
the
focused on
photography.
pulling
When we
on
had
ships
that
to their private
woman
island,
from Germany, the
Coco Cay,
professional
in which, like I
photographer,
said, they
that
can
was
control
awesome.
that area and, of course, be able to keep 100% of the profit.
And the jungle car took us all the way to the top of the mountain.
Perfect.
The guy driving the jungle truck
Yeah.
with St.
I know
Martin.
what you're talking about, that, St. Thomas.
But you got to make sure you get a driver like we had. We had the craziest. Remember, he was like, he was
Yeah.
always on the microphone. Yeah.
Coco Cay is a great island. Although, of course, visiting Perfect Day at Coco Cay, you will not be able to capture the Bohemian culture. People are still able to have a great time. They have adult options there. They have exclusive options there, like the Coco Beach Club, in which you can have your own privacy and enjoy the island and have your own experience. Carnival undoubtedly will have the same thing at Celebration Key. So there are three problems that I want to identify when it comes to the mega ships, whether it be from Carnival or Royal Caribbean in this particular case. For starters, not only do the cruise lines have limitations on where they can take these mega ships, there are limitations on where they can sail out of as well. For example, I live in Tampa.
Yeah.
We have a small port because we have a bridge here in which big ships can't get through. There's also the ideology.
Yeah, what is the biggest
that
Carnival
naturally
ship
you
you
may
can fit
not
under the
pull
bridge
in the
class?
demographic from that particular area. Meaning you're going to see a lot of mega ships sailing out of Florida and just simply
Like
at some
Spirit
point
class, I
going over
think.
to the Bahamas, over to their private island and area. Number two, a bigger ship means obviously, unfortunately, a bigger price. We've all seen Royal Caribbean go up to what I like to call Disney prices, and the problem is that people are actually paying these ridiculous prices, so much so that it's now going to become the norm.
Yeah.
Carnival hasn't as much, but they are
The
definitely
new
increasing their
ships
prices.
are
You go see right
priced,
now on, let's say, Celebration or any of
ridiculously
their newer
high.
XL class ships.
Oh, really?
The prices have
Oh, yeah.
definitely gone up. This is, of course, just
It's
simple
crazy.
business, supply and demand. You
Like,
guys know
how
all
much?
that
Because
works.
you
I also
always do
have
the
a
Like a
theory
lot.
that cruise
Not
lines-
that we pay very much for that.
Well, no,
Plus
well,
the
first of all-
taxes and port fees. Oh my God.
You can't get a comp for the brand new ships. They have to be in service for a year before you can get the casino comp.
Oh yeah, because all the offers are coming from the smaller classes, right?
Well, you just can't get the newer ships.
They're just not even out there.
Right.
Now, there's got to be some level of Players Club tours, some level of play that will get you offers on the big ones.
Maybe. But
Contact your
the regular fares that they're charging are probably 3 times a fare on like Oasis or Lure.
So just for math's sake, say a room, regardless of where it's at, is $200 a night per person. On a regular, 5-year-old ship.
Mm-hmm.
10-year-old ship. That same room on these newer ones would be what 500 a person, 600 per day.
Yeah.
Really?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's,
Wow.
yeah, it's really bad. Like,
Well, that's why they're building more mega ships. That's why.
but they can only do that for the first year again.
That's another
So the
reason to
next-
keep rolling out new ships, because then you'll have a handful of ships. Because like the top 4 ships in terms of money making are probably the most recent 4 ships of any
Yeah.
cruise line.
Probably.
So you gotta just keep churning that.
Yeah. I do wish they would build something a more moderate size.
That I was thinking that the other day, because we were talking about how it's less operating costs of the new ones because of like LNG fuel,
Yeah.
electrical lighting is all low watts
But what
now.
are they going to do when all these
But that's what I'm
the
saying.
medium and small
And
size ships
they'll be good.
keep getting older and older?
There'll be good test platforms, like you said. Now go back and come out with a Panama size one, or come out with a,
Panama?
Panama Canal, the Panama class,
Oh, I know.
or come out with a thing that come out with a ship that does 2,500 people, 3,000, but all
That has all-
designed with architecture, space,
yeah.
and they could test out concepts like solar. They wouldn't have to put all this money into let's put solar on the roof. Well, first, let's find out how to do it.
Yeah.
on the smaller. That's a great idea.
I just think eventually, like what he just said, like Tampa, only a certain number size of ship can go under that bridge.
Build a
If
brand
you
new,
building
build a
bigger,
brand new 2 to 3K.
Eventually,
Yes.
all the other ones are gonna get old and have to,
And they'll just look old, even if they're functioning
and they're gonna have to
properly.
go out of,
But they'll be burning dirty fuel and everything.
yeah.
But yeah, because like we like the small.
Because during the pandemic, as
She
we all
just
know,
came up with a great idea.
Millions and millions of dollars.
All right, back to you.
Let's talk about the future of these mega ships. Things are fine and dandy now. The cruise ship industry, at least as of 2019, has increased by 17% and is expected to continue to grow in popularity as far as the entire industry is concerned. You have about 50% of Americans in about 5 hours and some change roughly, meaning it is an attractive option considering there are plenty of Americans, maybe people around the world that may not have a lot of time available, they want to go see multiple places. I do believe that a cruise is the best place to kind of go to get a taste test of different destinations. That's why a lot of people do cruise. No hassle form of travel. If you don't want to fly, let's say to Bermuda directly, you take a cruise to Bermuda, stay there for, let's say if you're sailing with like Norwegian, 3-day stay over there and decide if you want to go back there for a week or maybe even longer. Nevertheless, looking into the future, we have a crystal ball here, and let's say the well dries up. Demand for cruising just so happens to go down, or we see something in the form of somewhat of a recession in which people don't really have the money to spend on a cruise on board a mega ship, or we have, I hope not, another COVID-like event. Cruise ships are not like a land-based operation, like let's say a resort in which they've already bought the property. There are ways that they can conserve. Once a cruise ship starts moving, it's like a plane. It doesn't stop because it's always going to cost money whether passengers are on board or not. The simple reality is that at some point, all of these brand new and popular cruise ships within the next coming decades are going to become old or seasoned cruise ships. What can the cruise lines do? Yes, they can continue. There's always going to be a new influx of passengers or returning passengers that want to sail on these cruise ships. They can involve shorter itineraries on these mega ships, giving people the opportunity, or let's say lack thereof, to see less on the cruise ship to the point to where they continuously want to go back and board said cruise ship because there were a lot of things that they missed. But the reality is, yes, you're going to potentially see these inflections of the economy and everything in between to the point to where they can't sell out these cruise ships like they are now. What do you do at that point? Now, do keep in mind, this is just my tinfoil hat talk. I do believe the cruise ship industry is thriving. It will continue to do so for many decades to come. However, there's nothing wrong with, let's say, entertaining the conversation, because obviously these are factors that are indeed baked in the cake and in the equation. But it's also somewhat thought-provoking too. So I do want to hear from all of you. What do you think of my idea? What do you think of the whole ideology? And also, what do you think is for the future for cruise lines? And do you think that they are kind of going a little too far with this mega ship trend? We do have Royal Caribbean talking about the idea of
like
the
I said, I think
Discovery
they need
class
to
cruise ships, a set of smaller cruise ships in which people can still
build
enjoy.
some,
I would love to
like,
hear your thoughts in the
medium
comment section
size.
below. I'd also love for you guys to hit that like button. And if you're interested in booking a cruise, you can book it with
Newer,
myself and my team,
medium-sized
Lux
ships.
Rally Travel.
Uh-oh.
We do not charge
Did you hear that?
any fees
No.
for the book.
Jay's got a team now. You can contact him to book it with him or his
So do keep in
team.
mind for that.
Yeah.
Click on the link below. There is literally no reason.
Oh yeah, let's watch Ilana.
Spectrum Business is made to
After
work
they make
just
us
like
watch
you.
commercials.
Made to sell out even when the lights go out with wireless internet backup. And made to keep you working with Spectrum Complete connectivity and reliability.
It's a hit.
Spectrum Business, made to work.
Try new Poise overnight pads with a 75% wider back for worry-free sleep.
I hate it when they
Share
make
with
you
you
watch the
a
commercial.
couple of items that are, I think, optional that you. I've gone on 9 cruises over the last 12 months, and I've narrowed down my cruise essentials to about 30 items that I think are absolute
got
must-haves. But I admit that
30
there are some things
must-have
that I used to bring
items.
on a cruise that I.
She always does
no
cool
longer
lists.
packing this year.
I agree.
And she does them frequently too.
Yeah,
I
She gives out a lot of good practical, like, tips.
The other day she was talking about how she also, like her son and her husband, they all work as a team now. So basically they've gotten to a point where she's making a living doing what she loves.
Yeah.
And so I went back. It took me a while because I wasn't on a browser where I could go like right back to her first video. So I went back to the first year she was on. And it's just like with Tony, we've gone back and looked at some of Tony's first ones. But yeah, I'll be glad back to
They
Justin's.
play a lot of
Now, before I get started, I did want to share with you two things. Firstly, forgive me for the lighting. I'm on board an older cruise ship, and this is
Yay, older. Who's an older cruise ship fan? And what's your favorite cruise ship under 3,000 passengers?
And secondly, if you like this video,
What is your favorite small? Ooh, passenger-wise, what's the smallest Carnival or Royal ship out there now? Do you think?
And please subscribe to the channel.
Carnival's Elation, probably.
And what else is in that class? Elation Paradise.
I think that's it.
They're at what, 1,800 or something like
This is a
that?
new
I
one
know.
that I've tried, and I am really loving it. It's got this diagonal zipper, so it opens up really.
Okay. I don't care about the makeup bag. Yes. Packing cubes.
An absolute essential. Now, my husband has been using the green packing cubes. I usually use the blue packing cubes. It helps us to stay organized.
You know whose
And
stuff
this
is
way, what we
blue?
can do is actually
Packing
just
cubes
use the
are
cloth
awesome.
towels.
Yes.
Not very many in this cabin, and we can just stay organized, and it's really quick to pack and unpack on our cruise. Number 3, a hanging toiletry bag. Now, I use a pink hanging toiletry bag. My son actually uses a
Yeah,
black
I think the hanging toiletry bag
We
is
find this so
good.
useful even
So you
for
can,
cruise
you can
days
see all your
at
stuff,
hotels, and this is
Oh, yeah.
not necessarily
Have to
having
guess
to
what's in it.
unpack it and clutter up the counter.
Absolute top cruise essential. Honestly, I don't even think I could cruise without this. In particular,
yeah.
for older cruise ships in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I was reading about this. Something on like Wired magazine talked about YouTube and how right in the last like quarter, at a stockholders meeting, they're saying how they were trying to adjust and experimenting with different ad rates and things like that,
Yeah.
and that this is part of that. And one of the reasons is they're trying to walk a fine line between at what point will people now pay the $9 a month to go commercial free. But the thing is, they're also trying to see how much people will put up with for free so they can satisfy both. You know, see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to be cleaning the bathroom, and I don't think that they're really going to be very careful about not spraying any cleaners on toothbrushes. So I always make sure that I do have my toothbrush covered, and I even store them away when I do think that the cleaners are going to be coming in as well. Downy Wrinkle Release. I have already used this on my cruise so far. Now you can see here, I also have these toiletry skins, I think they're called, so I'll show you that in a minute. But Downy Wrinkle Release, people often wonder, what do you do when you can't use an iron in your cabin on a cruise ship? Well, you can use Downy.
Did you tell me someone is making an iron now?
It does take some time.
They'll accept or something like that?
Did I tell you what?
Someone makes an iron now that can go on a.
Oh, it's a small little iron, but they can still confiscate it.
Oh, so you can hide it easier.
I decided to
Sure.
use
They're pretty good at finding that stuff.
which I did lose the cover for. It did help to make sure that this didn't leak in any of my carry-on luggage. Now, by the way, any of the items that I am mentioning in this video, I am going to leave them all linked down below in the description below the video title in case you do want to check them out. Now, something new that I decided to try out over the last couple of cruises are these clear TSA-approved, leak-proof pouches. They are really good, and what I do like about them is even if you don't fill them full, they really do fold up pretty flat in your luggage, so they are very handy. And of course, if you are flying,
I just use regular
TSA
Ziploc
approved,
bags
so
though,
you can
although
fill them
these are
to
probably
one
way more
quart
durable.
size. Now, over the last couple of
yeah,
cruises,
you're right.
I've made a small sort of DIY laundry packet.
Yeah.
That includes if I
I've
want to do
started
any
doing
hand
that,
washing
too.
in the sink. I also bought these Shout wipes for clothing, which I've actually found work quite well. I always bring Tide to Go, very handy, and I have a couple of bounce sheets as well. Now, this is my go-to pill box, and I have tried a couple of other ones on Amazon as well, but this one just works really well. It does
That's
have
kinda
this
cool.
magnetic closure
Yeah,
that
you're
keeps
right.
it closed and organized, and I love the size of this.
It's not
I
gonna
can
work
bring
for
it
us,
to
though.
the dining room, throw this in a
It's too
sleeping bag, or put it in a
complicated.
tote bag as well.
Right.
Not only do I keep my over-the-counter medication.
But yeah, if you
like
wanted
my
to keep them all
Tylenol,
separate
Advil,
instead of in
but I
like
also put over
morning,
here,
afternoon.
that's my Bonine or Bonine, so for seasickness, if anybody gets it, I even have.
What's the name of that again?
medication If we need.
This?
So everything.
It's just, I don't know.
Next
It's
year, I am
a
going
pill.
to share with you
It's
what
a
I no
different kind of
longer
pill
have.
thing.
But I
I've
do
never
want to
seen
share
it
with you something
before.
that a lot of people do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just
This.
a basic first aid
First aid
items. So I
items,
always
yeah.
bring Band-Aids. I can tell you, there's never a time that we have not used them on a cruise.
Right.
I also bring
Yep.
polysporin.
Yeah, we probably always use a Band-Aid.
Did we ever do a video on your MacGyver bag when
We
on the
did.
back into Alaska?
Yeah, there's a whole video about
Now
it.
these days, I'm
You have to have a
bringing
MacGyver
non-surge
bag.
protected power cube. Now I
Yeah.
have
Like
this
basically
power
taking your
for a few
junk drawer,
years, and it
but
does
you've
have,
gotten only
like,
the good
some
stuff out of your
USB
junk
outlets,
drawer.
But they actually have
Well,
a newer.
And your medicine
version
cabinet.
That includes USB-C and USB-A.
Well, that's what I have.
So
I have,
that's
like, the
even better.
pharmacy,
You won't even need any
and then I have
extra adapters.
the
And it
junk
does
drawer.
have 3 different electric
That
outlets, which is
packing
perfect
cube
for it.
that's
By the
basically
way,
a
something that I
junk
didn't
drawer.
bring on this cruise, but really could have been very handy.
I always
is
use
bring
stuff in it, though.
European power
Yep.
adapter. I do have this at
Sometimes it'll go for years.
Bring it for
But
this
I'll
cruise.
bring it, you know, like I'll bring it when we go down to the kids. There's always something like
Like, I
that.
think there was that, it may have been, but that custom-made, nurse-approved spray you made for those bugs in Freeport. That had, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, you have to have 3 things.
And what was the concoction again? What are those, gnats or nits or?
They're, sand fleas,
Sand fleas.
no-see-ums, whatever you want to call them. But if
You mix 2 things together to get
there's
the
3
perfect.
things. It has to be, Benadryl cream, hydrocortisone cream, and aspirin cream. All 3 together.
Oh, really?
It's for,
Equally, a third and a third and a third?
I mean, that's pretty much what I did, and that's what made it like,
It got rid of the symptoms and the discomfort, right?
well, yeah. I mean, it covers all the
What does each
mechanisms
ingredient?
of itching, I guess.
What are those? Which does each ingredient? Why do you have to 3? Why are the 3 rather than 1 or 2?
Because one's a hot antihistamine,
Which one's
one,
that?
the Benadryl.
Okay, and that does what?
It's an antihistamine.
I don't know what antihistamine means.
You're gonna make me Google it. Anyway,
Computer.
No.
What does antihistamine mean?
stop.
Computer volume 10.
Histamine.
Okay. Computer stop. Computer volume 10.
No.
Computer, what is
Histamine. All that told me is
antihistamine?
Exactly, which is what I was
Gosh,
gonna
you
tell
told
you.
me. That's what I asked you.
Responses communication, as well as regulating physiological functions in the gut and acting as a neurotransmitter for the brain, spinal cord, and uterus.
See, you don't need to know all that. Anyway, it's an
Uterus.
antihistamine, a steroid, and an anti-inflammatory.
And that's what the Benadryl does.
No, the Benadryl is an antihistamine.
Okay, what's
The
next?
hydrocortisone cream is a steroid.
And what does the steroid do?
It makes things stop being inflamed. It's
Okay,
like-
and then the previous one, the first one, does that other thing we were just talking about.
what?
It regulates the histamine, does what it acts as an antihistamine.
It's for
This
allergies.
This next one is the steroid
Antihistamine is
treatment.
like an
Okay. And then
anti-allergy.
The third one is what, and what does it
The aspirin
affect?
cream, which is an analgesic.
And what does that mean? It numbs, it
Analgesic.
gets rid of the feeling, or?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. See?
Out what is included
Wasn't
in
so
the
hard,
Ultimate Cruise
was it?
Planner. I'm
It
gonna
was,
put all of the information
'cause
down
nobody
below in
wanted
the
to hear all
description
that.
Of this video. A cruise lanyard. Now you might have seen this hanging behind me
Yes.
a few minutes ago.
I love my
always bring
lanyards.
a lanyard so that I can bring my cruise card around with me on the cruise ship. Otherwise, trust me, I have lost it whenever I do not do this. Now the alternative to this
I did get you to
is
use
bring
your lanyard
cruise
a
card
couple
over,
times.
put that
Yes, I did.
on the back of your phone.
Like, if you don't wanna
My
have your
husband
wallet.
prefers that 'cause he always has
Yeah.
his phone with
I
him.
tell you what, I will
Now,
bump
rather
right
than
up to
having
the,
a lanyard,
just
something
the
that you could do on this
Yeah.
one
human
is
body
you can
tracker,
put
know
it
everything
so
you're doing, going
much
just for the
you can
convenience.
actually
That's how they trick us.
undo the little a
Hey, track
strap,
us on
you
it.
just have it as a clip. So if
Convenience.
you want to just throw it in your pocket, it's a little bit
Here,
smaller.
have a free email
You can just do
address.
that as well. Now this one is for
Well, the
ladies,
reason
and
why
a lot
I
of
like
people
the
ask me
lanyard
about my white
is
cover-up. It is
it
just
keeps me
right
from
behind
leaving my
me.
card in the
I
machine.
love that white
Yeah.
cover-up.
In
I
the
just think it's
casino,
great.
the
I just, you know me, I
Still have to
I put my
your
wallet right by the cash out
I did
slot.
buy it in black, and honestly, I love
Hey,
it.
why would you put your wallet out
Keep our
there?
cabin
It's a trap.
organized.
Try to get people to
Well,
take
nobody's
Get 'em
gonna
in
steal.
trouble.
That would be
I know.
dumb. That would be so dumb.
Quite
Exactly.
helpful. So one
Hey, we
of
kinda
them
match
is
again. I should go put on-
Right behind me, I have a magnet hook. I also have a couple near the door. I have
No,
a
do not
near the
change
bed. And I also
clothes.
use magnet clips to keep all of those
You
papers,
look
brochures,
fine the way you
certificates,
are.
etc.
Ooh,
Keep
don't be all
that
sexy with me.
organized as well. Now, when it
Ouch.
comes to the magnet hooks, and I am
Yeah,
gonna leave
magnet
some
hooks,
links down
magnet
below.
clips, those
Oh yeah,
are
that's, I never
good.
knew that's, you were doing that
That
magnet
they are
hooks thing.
heavy duty magnet hooks. Now, I like the ones
Hooks,
that
not
are
hooks.
75 pounds plus, because when you are hanging them vertically on the wall, it really doesn't hold 75 pounds. But
Yeah.
if I get that or higher, it will actually hold a backpack and anything else that I want to hold that is a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Now, for the magnet clips, I buy this set, I think it's about 12 or so that is in here, and these are just perfect. Now, also something that I do not think that I could live without, it just makes it so much easier to keep organized in our cabin, is having a pop-up hamper. This way I keep all of my dirty laundry.
Now, see, I don't bring the pop-up
out
mesh
maybe 4 to 10
hamper.
days of the cruise,
I
and then
just
pack all
use
of
like
that up
a-
at the end. Now, by the way, something
It
that I
depends.
started
If I'm
doing
gonna be
last
doing
is
laundry-
taking all of my dirty laundry and putting it in a compression
I guess it doesn't
Now,
matter.
while I like regular
Um,
vacuum tubes
She
for
brings one of those pop-up mesh hampers like we have in the house
in terms of
Yeah.
in
organizing
Florida,
and even seeing through that.
but
I have found this compressor.
Or-
Get rid of the
But
paper
anyway,
bag
I
for
found
laundry.
it
Just give
really
us a
well to
sack.
compress the items, and
Or,
it's just perfect for
um,
bringing my laundry home.
she's got compression cubes to take the laundry home in. I just bring a trash bag
Because they're so cute.
and put them
I
in.
have to say, I am now
No, but I mean when you're gonna send laundry, that paper bag.
My last cruise, really.
Yeah, they do that on purpose though, I bet.
Just make a bag that will stretch the maximum amount of paper bag plates, and then everybody.
These towel bands, they come in a set of 4.
Let's say you're
and
right,
the
Bonnie.
one that I bought included.
I'm telling you, they do it on purpose.
And
That's
they
what I'm
get up
saying,
next
they
to
need
you,
to stop.
they're very. My jewelry organizer pouch. Now, I think I bought this about 4
They
years
become
ago.
a
I am still
non-breakable
using it
bag
on
or
all of my
sack.
cruises. And I
Jewelry organizer.
Whether I bring
He's still
laundry or not,
talking.
it just helps to keep everything in
But
its place.
recyclable.
Okay, that's enough.
Alright.
Well, at least this commercial is gonna let me skip.
Well, it's a great song though. See, this is when you want to
I know, it's that dumb Apple
Now, I
This is a
think
great
it's
song.
something
goggle
just
thing commercial.
talk
Oh.
about now, But especially for shore excursions,
Let me
if you have
cons-
a lazy river, if you have water slides, even if you have a beach, not only can you keep your phone.
Which, is this the new one?
But maybe you want to keep your
What?
ship ID.
This the new
Maybe you want to
Carnival
keep
thing or
your
what?
No,
with
she's
your
talking about
credit card.
things
You
she's
can put
bringing,
all
honey.
of this in your
Oh,
package.
sorry.
This video
Now, two
is
things that I
about
didn't bring on this
packing.
cruise, but you might want to
So all the video that's running is just random stuff she's shot.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
just showing.
Especially for
Ah,
the
gotcha.
private island, it's cheaper to buy it yourself than to rent it on the private island if this is something that you want to do. And the other is water shoes. If I know I'm.
Oh, God, I always forget to bring
Need
water
them,
shoes.
Like I'm doing an excursion down to River Falls or to Virgin Florida, or even
I
some
know.
of the private islands.
Even if you
But
do bring
not,
them, I
well,
always
I
forget.
don't
Wear
wear them
them.
at home.
Right.
Refillable water bottles. You know, if you're going on a cruise and you do not have a beverage
Yes.
package that includes water,
Refillable.
you definitely want to bring a refillable water bottle. Now, this
Yeah.
cruise, we did not buy the beverage package. We decided to do it a little bit budget style. I brought my refillable water bottle, and I was very happy I did. Now, I mentioned I'm still not sure how to pronounce that, so let me comments below.
I pronounce
if
it
you know.
completely
But
a
I
third
think
different
for
way than she did.
Seasickness prevention is imperative.
Bonine is what I
She
bought.
said
Even if you've never been
Bonine
seasick,
or
it really is
Bonine.
assurance.
Bonine is how I've always
It's
thought.
tote bag or
Bonnie.
bag. In particular, if you
I-
are going on a hot weather cruise where you have beaches and you're gonna go over to the pool, you
Well,
definitely
see,
want to have this. But
she
even
brings
if you're
a
on
special
cruise
beach
like
bag, but
Mediterranean or
I just bring
Alaska,
backpacks
you
that
might
we
still
use
go
for
to the spa,
carry-ons
you might
and
go
use
over
them
to
for
the pool,
beach
And you're
bags.
still gonna
So
wanna have
it's
a tote bag for your.
Like, so I'm not bringing an
And
extra
personal
bag
alternative is always the best.
necessarily.
Now, something very old school that we actually bring on our cruises,
I see what
and
you
a lot
mean.
of cruisers bring this, is a digital alarm clock. So we have a very
No.
simple one. I'll link it
I
down
don't need a
below
clock.
in the description of this video. I don't think
Because
we've ever replaced the
Our
battery
phone,
in yours, so this works really well. Now, the other item that you might want to bring, also a cruiser favorite,
watch.
is the motion sensor nightlight. Now, unfortunately, I left that on a cruise a couple of cruises ago. I really should get another
Aw.
one, especially when you're not in a balcony cabin. Now, I have one more gadget from Amazon that is definitely not for everyone, but people have been asking me about it, at least on this cruise, so I thought I would mention it. So what this is a light that you can attach to your cell phone.
Oh,
And what
for
you can do
video.
then is you can take, let's say, food photos or any other photos that you want. It really is a nice bright light that you can adjust. And whether you're a content creator or you just want to take good photos and videos, this is something that can be helpful. And this, like all of the other items that I mentioned in the video, will be linked down below in the description of the video. Now, I'm going to leave all of the information about the Lifeboat Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner, as well as all of the links to the items that I mentioned
Deal.
in this
That's a
video,
good one.
linked down below in the video.
Is this your most recent one? Bring up to,
Yeah.
I would love to hear from you, especially let me know.
what's the channel name again for folks?
Hold on. Now I gotta. Lifewell Cruise.
Life Well Cruise. And she's using a little lavalier microphone. I've had one of those for 15 years and it's got a long cord too, but I've never used it.
I
have a lot of stuff I've never used, right?
Yeah.
Towel bands. I just think they are genius. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Please
Thumbs up.
subscribe.
And
Can't
seriously,
get it to work.
thumbs up really, thumbs up do one other thing, we always say it'll help our channel.
Yeah.
The other thing it does is it lets YouTube know you like these types of video. So it's gonna improve the
It
feed.
gives you
Yeah.
better videos.
So even though you subscribe to somebody, if you're thumbing up someone that you subscribe to, then you're even more likely to have it pushed at you.
Yeah.
Or over a longer period of
A
time.
couple of items that
I
are, I
just
think,
couldn't get it to-
optional.
Oh my god, she does, I didn't know she does the whole channel breakdown now.
Some of the activities are-
In sections?
Yeah. Her,
See, that's where your team has to do that. That takes
her kid
forever
probably does
to
it
do.
for her, Yeah. All right.
Oh my god, there's one of our old ones. What does it say?
Michigan Casino Land Cruise.
Bring it up. Just do me a favor, entertain me. And anybody watch? I don't think anybody's watching it. No, but just for chuckles and giggles. And as soon as the video pops up, just fast forward right to the middle and let's watch for 2 minutes and see what's in the middle of this video.
Why?
Because I don't want to go through all of the beginning and everything.
I don't want to
just
go through any of it.
well, you want to fight?
No. I want to
Now
watch
fast
the
forward.
video I was about
Just-
to watch.
We will. Okay, for 30 seconds, just go to the very middle. Keep going right to that bar. Stop and play. At 11:30. 11 at the main ride. Do they consider breakfast up here? I don't think they do they? I didn't see any. So I look with the ham and cheese, grilled beef, ham and cheese, and soup. Is that Soaring Eagle or second?
This is agony.
Just like great little Indian casino around Sandish, County, Michigan.
I was still fat.
But it's a good practice casino because literally they have nickel for video poker players. They have nickel jacks or better that pay 9.6. Which most places you got to go to, even in Vegas, $5 a credit. But yeah, at 5 cents, you can go there $50 to learn how to play video poker. Pay out on the slot machines. I play them like a handful of times. Pay out compared to any other casinos or
Yeah.
same. But they have lower denominations, just like in the video poker, right?
Yeah. They have a lot.
So
They have a really good
So you
variety.
can max bet typical machines, but at a much lower rate.
They have a lot that are like 150 for the max bet.
See, and that's so. Seriously, if you want to take a group of people on the shuttle bus there with the wine flowing, give them a little lesson about odds and stuff, and then that way they can go ahead and play max spins for $100 instead of $500. right, I'll be quiet. You can do
All right.
whatever you want now. I just wanted to see what this looked like and if I was presentable or not.
I was 50 pounds heavier. Alright, I want to see what Cruisely. Let me rewind it. Oh, I went to the wrong video.
Cruisely.
Hold on, there it is. To see what he thinks the difference. Oh, these commercials are killing me.
There's a lot today.
He's gonna talk about the difference between Royal and Carnival. I'm
Oh,
interested to see.
yeah.
Similarities that
Because those are the two main cruise lines that we always go on.
Right.
and Royal Caribbean.
I wanna do
the two
Princess.
cruise lines are by
Which would you
far
do
the
for
most
princess or
popular
celebrity?
with
Oh, if I was
Oh,
going to do something.
okay, or any other cruise that's one level up from Royal Caribbean, so I don't know how many lines there are. But I don't want to do Holland America yet.
Oh,
Not
no.
yet. Maybe in 15
Like,
years when
no.
I'm 75,
Never.
when I'm old.
Hal looks so
I know,
boring.
I agree. I'm asking you, princess,
Celebrity.
What else is
Celebrity.
there? Other
I would
ship
probably
line?
do celebrity.
What other ones are at that level?
Princess.
Right. Any other ones? That's it, right?
Yeah, they kind of go up from there. Like Virgin is different.
Ah, Virgin. Okay, that
And
just for the
then
experience.
MSC is really mainline.
Yeah,
Um,
their pricing is at
their
least right.
prices are good, but their ships are really pretty.
Yes.
So I would like to try MSC, but I wouldn't consider it.
I go with Virgin. Do Virgin and then Celebrity.
Virgin's expensive. No, I would do Celebrity.
Well, not if we had to pay for it for crying out loud.
Anyway,
millions of cruise passengers sailing on their ships each year. If you've never taken a cruise, or you've only sailed with one cruise line or the other, then you'd be forgiven for thinking that both Royal Caribbean and Carnival
But I think
are
what I wanna
exactly
do
the
is
same.
level up
In fact, while both
on our
lines do
status
have
on
a lot of
both
similarities,
Carnival
there
and
are also
Royal
some
before
major
we
differences. To be
do
sure,
something
you're bound to
different
have fun
Right.
on either
on our,
company's ships.
our
However, if you want the real scoop on
Remember
how they differ,
what our
I've laid out some of
status.
the major differences between the two. Both Royal Caribbean and Carnival offer affordable vacations, though prices overall do seem to be on the rise. If you want to sail the more inexpensive cruise line, however, then you're better off with Carnival according to my analysis.
Oh yeah.
About a year ago, I analyzed dozens of cruises from both cruise lines departing from three of their most popular ports. Carnival and Royal Caribbean, they both sail from Miami, Port Canaveral, and Galveston, which gives an ability to compare prices across the lines with similar trips. When looking at the fares for each sailing in July 2024, the peak of the cruise season in North America, I found that Carnival's fares are less expensive on average. According to my analysis, cruise fare for a 5-night trip aboard Carnival
Look, it's not that
about
much more,
$50
though.
cheaper
No.
per person during my
What's the one
search
that's way out of
than
whack,
what was
though?
seen on Royal Caribbean.
7
The
nights.
7 nights.
That
That was a big
average
difference, though,
price
out of
also
all of them,
held
you know.
No matter the cruise length. Note, however, that Royal Caribbean's 7-night average in my
Probably
analysis
because it's their
included
best.
trips
their
aboard
biggest
Icon of the
option.
Seas from Miami,
Yeah.
which features prices considerably
It's because
higher
of
than
Icon.
other ships in the fleet.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
keep in mind that this doesn't mean that your cruise will automatically be less expensive on Carnival or more
Yeah,
expensive
what
on
was that
Royal
little
Caribbean.
carnivalation we were
What
talking
you
about?
pay for a specific cruise depends on a lot of factors, including when you sail, the specific ship that you choose, and the route that you take. But in general, you can figure that a Carnival cruise will run less than a similar one on Royal Caribbean.
Wish upon a star makes no difference who you are.
Good.
While both cruise lines have ships ranging from older, smaller vessels to brand new mega ships, Royal Caribbean and Carnival's vessels definitely differ. Royal Caribbean is well known for having the largest cruise ships in the world.
Yeah.
And while Carnival ships can be of comparable length, the overall size of Royal Caribbean's biggest ships is noticeable. Consider that Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas is nearly 1,200 feet long, and carries more than 5,700 guests at double occupancy. And that's just one of several in its Oasis class fleet. Overall, it has a gross tonnage of 237,000 tons. Icon of the Seas now takes over as the largest cruise ship in the world and comes in at more than 250,000 gross tons. The top 6 largest cruise ships on the planet belong to Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Carnival Celebration, Carnival's largest ship, has a gross tonnage of 183,000 tons, or about 75% of the size of Royal's largest ship. And this is just one example. When it comes to size, Royal Caribbean definitely has an edge. Good news, both cruise lines offer constant entertainment. In fact, I find a lot of similarities between the lines when it comes to things like comedians, onboard contests, evening game shows, casino gaming, and
Carnival
more.
does
But I do have to acknowledge that Royal Caribbean stage performances,
Yeah.
especially on the newer and the larger ships, they can be a step above.
Let me see if we agree. I think Carnival does better on comedy.
Oh my god, that.
Oh,
Oh gosh,
Wait.
can wait. Can we do a whole video on just that?
No, not right now.
What do I have to do
But
this?
I think what he was just saying, the production type shows
Oh, Royal.
on Royal are so much better. Like the whole
You know
ice
what?
skate show,
It's
variety of shows.
It's almost like some licensed actual Broadway productions. I mean, is that better than just, somebody playing a piano and lip syncing to 80s music?
Yes.
Okay, that was unfair. Sorry, Carnival. Love you.
This includes the Aqua Theater shows aboard Oasis and Icon class ships that are unique to Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
But when it comes to activities on board, I think Royal Caribbean and Carnival are very different. Royal Caribbean.
What are you doing,
I mean, is that better than just, somebody playing a
honey?
piano and lip syncing?
Why are you doing?
Well, I think there's somebody watching now, and I just wanted to make sure.
It's me.
Scissor 3.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm trying to make sure the audio is coming through and not being choppy. But anyways, I digress.
Caribbean definitely seems more
I wanna do that.
things to do on the ship.
I want to do that.
Newer ships,
Yeah, we gotta find
call
it.
a slide at sea.
That's what we could do at the old Kmart. Put in a water slide, put in the go-karts, put in the
even an
flying machine.
observation pod that can take you up and out over the water on some ships. Icon of the Seas debuts a full-fledged water
So,
park
yeah,
with
Royal
6 slides.
has more.
Now, Carnival
like,
offers plenty of fun things to
I
do as
think
well,
bells
but
and
it's
whistles.
typically more of the
Mm-hmm.
classic things to do on a cruise
But
ship, like mini golf or movies,
I think
pools,
Carnival's
and jogging tracks, which
activities
Royal Caribbean
that you
also
do
has.
as a group are better.
That said, Carnival is moving in the
Onboard
direction of
activities you do as
Royal.
a
Yeah.
For
group, like
instance,
trivia
Mardi
and
Gras,
stuff like
Carnival
that.
Celebration and Jubilee
Yeah.
at the
Give me another
roller
example of
coasters at
would be an
sea
activity
and
that they have more of.
Just,
I get
or
what you're
it's more
saying.
fun. The trivia, the game shows, that sort of thing. I think there's more. The sail away party.
Is trivia better on Carnival because
It's just more fun. I think they try to make it more fun.
it seems to me like there's
More
more
people.
hardcore trivia player.
More
That's getting
people.
different nowadays because trivia's become so fun with millennials, but I think more hardcore trivia people that go to like a lot of them, not everyone, but know how it works, everything.
Yeah.
It's more of that sort of crowd on a Carnival trivia place.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll go to the trivia on Royal and it's not even full.
Or they'll hold it in the middle of someplace where there's all sorts of traffic, and then you get people strolling by and going, Jamie Easton! Blue Nav, a movie released in 1970. Shut up!
Cruise Line is the only one to have an IMAX on some of its ships. One of the biggest
Yeah.
benefits to the growth of the cruise
That's
industry,
another example.
as cruise lines grow their
What shit were they going to get rid of the IMAX, or was it a rumor and tell me
Nah,
shut it
that was
down?
all
from
big
smaller
rumor.
ports. Are you
But who
near
was
a
it? What was
major
it?
cruise
This
port
one.
like Miami or Galveston? The good news is that you have your choice of either cruise line. You'll find both lines in any port with heavy cruise traffic. If you are close to a smaller port, however, such as Mobile or Jacksonville or Charleston, South Carolina, then you'll be glad to know that you can still sail aboard Carnival. Royal Caribbean is
Not
catching up in
starting
this
next year.
regard, sailing from
Did we ever
spots
measure out what is,
New Orleans.
well, now that we've moved,
What's so nice
but what
about
is the
sailing from those
closest
smaller
drive
ports,
time
however,
cruise port
that it
to
means
is there
more-
from us here in up north Michigan? Virginia?
No, Baltimore, probably.
Because when we were in Columbus,
Baltimore.
there were a bunch that were kind of close, you know, but
That's what I'm saying.
the next closest after Baltimore would have to be Charleston or Virginia Beach or where.
New York,
Interesting.
Boston. Yeah.
See, you have that Atlantic conditions all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only, I mean, they sail out of New York all year long, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the water conditions, the chop, and you know,
No, but like, would you literally right now want to sail out of New York?
never.
Okay.
Even before it became a hellhole.
No,
Yes,
we saw
I
over
know.
New Jersey.
I still didn't like it, but I wouldn't.
That was a lot of fun going past the Statue of Liberty.
It's one of those
and-
kind of like Alaska. Well, no, sorry, this is total. That's a total. No, don't even think of that comparison. But no, it was like kind of like bucket list. I still didn't.
I would do
the
it.
location.
People can cruise.
Well, then, where are we going? Is it Grand Atlantic? No problem.
The plane tickets on top of a cruise can be burdensome for some people who would otherwise set sail.
Canada.
Looking for bladder leak protection designed for
God.
worry-free sleep?
Yeah, they
Try
seem to be
Ahoy
coming up
overnight
more, you're
pads.
right.
With a 75% wider back.
One complaint that many
Like,
people
you should
have,
be able to
especially
get
with
through
the
a
size
10-minute
of
video
modern
without
ships,
having
that there
five
are too
commercials.
many passengers.
crazy.
Well, that's just become a fact of life on cruises.
But like the other day, I got a
What's
whole
the
bunch
difference
without
between
any
the two lines?
commercials on.
How much space those people have on the ship. Now, there's no perfect measure of this, as ship design can have as much to do with the elbow room you feel than anything.
Yeah.
But I like to use something called the space ratio. This is simply the gross tonnage of a ship divided by the capacity at double occupancy. Essentially, this is how big a ship is per passenger. In that regard, there's a marked difference. Royal Caribbean ships, they consistently measure in the low 40s in this segment.
Hold on, I gotta
No
see
matter
it
what.
says. How much elbow room? Gross tonnage by the number of passages it contains. Space ratio gives you an idea of which ships will seem more crowded. So, do you want it to be a larger number or a smaller number?
Whether a ship is new or old. Carnival also has a few that measure in the 40s, but most are around 30.
This is interesting. What's it say again? I can't see quite
significantly
clearly
smaller
now.
size per passenger.
Pause that for a
In
second.
other words,
Can you
Hold
hear
on.
if
me?
you felt that Carnival feels more cramped, it might not be your imagination.
Okay, so they divide.
If you are a budgeter,
The gross
then
tonnage
one of
by
the
the number
frustrating
of
things you might
passengers.
encounter is dynamic pricing
Now I
on
gotta
And
look.
gross tonnage is what, basically?
How much water
Like
it
square feet?
displaces, isn't it?
Yeah, see, and that's somebody's like, what does that mean in ship size?
I think it has to do with how much water it displaces, doesn't it?
Put it in the comments below. I
measure
don't want to
in the
Google
low
it.
Okay,
40s
wait.
in this segment.
Here. So, based on this table, Icon of the Seas, which is the largest ship, divided by double occupancy, number of passengers, has the biggest space ratio.
Okay.
And then, Adventure of the Seas.
What's the
that
difference?
makes sense. We like Adventure of the
What's
Seas.
the difference from Icon to wait a minute, Adventure of the Seas is the next one? That's why we like it so much.
Yeah.
And what? So besides Icon, the next ships with the biggest space per person
Are the smaller
Adventure, Brilliance.
Serenade.
Are these all basically the same?
Mariner,
Where's the next difference?
I think Brilliance and Serenade and Radiance are
Oh,
like in their own.
so in the column that says
class.
passengers, because no one's gonna be able to read this on the video. So where it says passengers, what's the number of passengers on Icon?
5610.
5610. And then for adventure it goes to what?
3,114.
And it's pretty much.
And then I think Brilliant Serenade Radio.
Is there a big
is the same
difference
as,
between
like,
that? Is there a big difference between adventure and brilliance, or is the big difference in where's the next
yes,
big difference?
It is a big difference.
What in the number difference from adventure, which is right below
It's
icon?
137,000 and Brilliance is 90,000. So it's like Grandeur of the Seas.
No, I'm talking about the number of passengers.
Oh, 3,100, 2,100,
And icon is
5,600. Double occupancy. That's
so,
not counting cabins with 3, 4.
and adventure has 1,000 more than brilliance, right? Brilliance is 1,100.
Yes.
So by far, then adventure is the next biggest small ship, the next biggest ship, regardless of size.
Yes.
And it's a big difference even from the next lower one. That's why we like, seriously. Now, why isn't, what's the other in that class? Liberty? Why isn't another one in that class even close? Why is that? Yeah, that's a good question. Why
Let's
is
see,
that?
Adventure Net. Well, they're not that far apart though.
I thought it's 1,000 people.
No, but it's the space ratio.
No, I'm talking about passengers, the number. Oh, I see. That's the number on the ship. Okay. Wow. I was reading that totally wrong. Okay.
So it feels bigger if the space ratio is bigger.
And so adventure is 137 tons.
Mm-hmm.
And then the brilliance is 90 tons.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get down and then there's others with more tons, like Explorer
Those are
of the Seas.
The more tons, yeah. So everything that's like 137,
Which
because
gives
it's
you,
because they can squeeze more passengers.
which one has the most space per person though?
Icon of the Seas,
And which column is that number
the
though?
space ratio.
Oh, on the far right. I
Yeah.
didn't notice that either. So there's icon. So are they ranking them? Like, is this column being displayed by the highest to lowest in space ratio right
Yes.
now? Okay, well now it makes a lot of sense. So space ratio on icon is how much?
44.7.
And it's 44 point what for adventure? And then next is
42.1, 42, 42, 41.8, 41.8, 41. I mean,
so
not that different.
it's about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I think it's interesting that Adventure is the highest out of all the rest. If we just get rid of Icon of the Seas, I would never have realized that
That it was that close.
that Adventure of the Seas would have the highest space ratio of all the other ships.
Besides icon.
If there was no Icon, yes.
Okay, cool. See?
No matter.
We learn something every day. Now everybody knows it if we're still streaming
Carnival
live.
also has a fuel measure in the 40s, but
Because
most
maybe
are
the
around
cameras are-
34 to
cameras are still alive,
37,
though.
meaning
Are
a
they?
significantly smaller
Yeah.
size per passenger.
We
In
now
other
have two
words,
concurrent
if you
views.
thought that
One of them
Carnival
still
feels
you.
more cramped, it might
Yeah,
not be
yeah.
your imagination. If you were a
Alright,
budget,
are we learning
then
about
one of the
Carnival
frustrating
Horizon?
Oh, do a Carnival
Carnival Horizon
on
Casino
road
Tour.
No,
I gotta go get something more to drink.
we'll have to
business
do that
tech
another
offers something
time.
like a
This
specialty
is getting
restaurant
long.
or a drink package.
Oh no, let's just keep watching
Instead,
TV.
the price will
do you
vary
wanna do then?
based on the specific cruise that you take. So you
I
could
don't
sail
know.
one cruise in
I want to see my videos with
but a
you.
completely
Well,
different
I
price
don't wanna do it
next
on
time
camera.
you sail.
Just
Royal
pretend-
Caribbean
we
has
like-
dynamic pricing
just
on
pretend the
many
cameras aren't
things.
on.
For instance, the cruise line adjusts prices on drink packages. An admission to Thrill Water Park on Coco Cay has also been higher or lower, including some prices of more than $150 per person, depending on the individual cruise. Not having a set price can make it tougher to budget before you buy, as you won't know the price of some items on the ship until after you have booked. Carnival, on the other hand, has more traditional pricing that doesn't change from trip to trip, at least right now. So, even if you haven't booked, you'll have a good idea of how much things will cost on the ship. Now, on a cruise, alcoholic drinks are big business. It's not unusual to pay $7 to $9 for a beer or $11 to $14 for a
Maybe
cocktail.
that's a deal.
At those prices, the bar tab can add up quickly. To help passengers budget, cruise lines have drink packages. The packages, they allow you to pay one set daily price, and then you can get whatever you want without worrying about the bill. There are differences, however, between Carnival and Royal Caribbean when it comes to these drink packages. First, Carnival's Cheers package is less expensive than what you'll usually find on Royal Caribbean. Carnival charges around $60 per day if bought ahead of time on the cruise, while Royal Caribbean uses dynamic pricing where the price depends on your specific trip. However, in general, you can expect it to be more than what Carnival charges. As well, Carnival does have a 15-drink limit over a 24-hour period for alcoholic beverages. Non-alcoholic beverages are unlimited, while Royal Caribbean, they make no mention of a limit. For years,
Although they
cruise
will
lines
enforce
have
one at
had
some point.
islands.
Like about
These islands have
2 in the
been
morning,
busy,
I learned.
offering some restaurants
Oh,
and
really?
shops, but the
Yeah, remember there's that one night, these guys were all putting like $30,000 out on the
These
table
spots,
every
they offer
hand and they still
snorkeling,
closed it
beach
down.
activities, kayaking,
And they stopped
more.
cutting off service,
However,
the bartenders
that has definitely
disappeared.
changed with the recent renovation of Coco Cay by Royal Caribbean. The cruise line spent $250 million to completely transform the place from a sleepy tropical island to a full-blown theme park. Today, Coco Cay features a full water park with one of the tallest slides in the world, a massive freshwater pool, restaurants, and tons more. Now, when it comes to private destinations, Coco Cay is really in a class of its own. Carnival does have its own private destinations that are a lot of fun, but they aren't quite in the same league as what Coco Cay can offer as far as things to do. However, that will be changing. The cruise line has broken ground on Celebration Key in the Bahamas, scheduled for a 2025 opening that will be even larger than Royal Caribbean's offering.
Sometimes that's a couple hours you want to go up there to the market with me and get the bird seed. Get away from these dogs, they're driving me crazy.
So what's a cruise without food? This is one area that the cruise lines differ a little bit. Now, you won't go hungry, and both offer some tasty options. Where the difference lies is in your free versus paid choices. In my opinion, Carnival has more and better free options. One of the most popular places on the ship is Guy's Burger Joint, a great fresh grilled burger with seasoned fries. If you want to eat there, it's
That's
free.
burger
As well, there's also Blue Iguana Cantina, Pizzeria del Capitano, and a few other places where you can grab a bite like Shebang or Big Chicken or the Deli without any additional
Big
charge.
Chicken,
And some
so
spots
good.
that charge for dinner also have free lunch options. Royal Caribbean definitely has free places to eat, and larger ships tend to have more free options. But in my opinion, the freebies outside of the buffet and the dining room seem to be more like snacks than meals. Meanwhile, the cruise line seems to focus more on specialty restaurants that charge extra. And those specialty restaurants tend to lean more toward fancier high-end eats than Carnival. When you cruise, you should really think of having 2 different costs for that trip. There's the cruise fare, which is by far the biggest bulk of what you'll spend. But then there's also the spending that you'll do on the ship, including things like drinks, Wi-Fi, excursions, the specialty restaurants, and more. The good news is that this spending, it is optional. If you don't want to spend anything on board, you don't have to. But if you do spend, then you'll likely find that Carnival is less expensive overall than Royal Caribbean. For instance, specialty cocktails on Royal Caribbean were recently seen at $14 per glass. On Carnival, they tend to run more in the $10 to $12 range. The same goes for the drink package discussed earlier. It's usually less expensive on Carnival. I will say that since the pandemic and the rise in inflation, Carnival's prices seem to be creeping up to match Royal Caribbean. For instance, the highest tier internet on Carnival is now up to